Monarch Legacy of Affairs Season 2 just ended, and I thought it was pretty good. Probably better than Season 1, I think. Not too sure yet. But who cares about all of that? We're here to cover the new kid on the block, Titan X, also known as Kokai. Does she live up to the hype, or is she just okay? Or is she straight up a fraud? Spoilers? She's nowhere near close to that. I've been an attorney for Kong and Zilla Jr., and now I'm here to make a case as to why most Titans in the Monsterverse want zero smoke with her. If you want more coverage of Titan X, the Monsterverse overall, or you want me to defend any other kaiju, as I don't have an agenda or hatred towards any of them, except for him, he can burn. Be sure to like, hype, and subscribe, and comment my next client I should defend. Also check out the last video if you haven't already. Shameless begging promo finished, let's begin the case of Kokai not being a fraud. Mrs. Kokai is well over 100 meters long and weighing well over 20,000 tons. She's a hefty monster, being at least twice the size of GMK Baragon and the Superman kaiju. She's equipped with nasty jaws, tentacles, claws on those tentacles, and regeneration property. But most of all, she's a sweetheart. Me, the homies, and you, yes you, we all love Kokai. But unfortunately, Godzilla does not. So let's go over the boxing match with the king to establish how well she would do against other Titans. Off rip, she got tail smacked straight to the cranium. Godzilla done combobbled her brain, and all she can understand is nothing but brain rot. She's finished. Is what you would think. In actuality, in less than a second, she sprung right back up into action and even restrained Goji. So already she's mogging the male Muto badly. Female Muto too, as she can at least contest with Godzilla's strength. You can even see her pull him in closer with only a couple of her tentacles. And Godzilla was lifting her up and slamming her down multiple times, and my girl bounced right back up. Although, speaking of which, when Kokai was distracted, she was able to restrain Goji, and she was able to bob and weave that atomic breath. Now, I know some of you may bring up Keiko's statement about Godzilla holding back, which it might be true, but I don't know if I fully agree with that. That or Godzilla's just plain stupid. If Godzilla simply wanted Kokai off Australia and back to Axis Monday, then why would Big Bro stop her from leaving and then proceed to fire his most powerful attack at her? Son. Or maybe this could imply Kokai could tank Godzilla's atomic breath just fine if he didn't want to kill her. That's a stretch, I know, but that's my point about how Godzilla's actions here are a bit odd if he truly just wanted her to leave. But regardless if he was or not, there is no denying Kokai certainly had the AP to hurt Goji. On multiple occasions, she had deep voiced Godzilla screeching like a baby. She had him singing opera out of pain. So regardless if you think Goji's going easy or not, Kokai's claws doing damage to anybody Godzilla tier or below. Now her fight with Kong, I don't have that much more to say because Godzilla's stronger than Kong, so really to gauge her AP and strength comes from that fight. However, look how often my girl's eating them nasty haymakers Kong is launching at her, and she seems to bear no major scars or injuries afterwards. Really good durability there. Kokai also has great speed too, ducking the atomic breath at point blank range, and even catching Kong, who can also dodge the atomic breath at point blank range while fat. So here with a slimmer Kong, her catching him lacking a few moments is very impressive. Along with decent battle IQ, as she's not getting completely floored by Kong in smarts, especially since he's experienced with Tentacle Titans, and we know Kong gets stronger the more he's experienced with fighting it. Now that we've gone over her two big battles, where does she rank overall in the Monsterverse? Starting off with the low tiers like the Dominion Titans, it should be obvious she bodies all of them. They couldn't even hang with a fatigue-drained Goji, while Kokai can, and even scarred him up too. So she easily rips all of them apart, including Godzilla too. Next are the Mutos, and I kind of gave it away how she deals with them in 1v1s earlier. They were getting packed out by a weaker Godzilla, and Titan X was holding her own against a stronger one, so she should mid-diff both of them individually. Why should I even bother about the Hollow Earth Titans? This should be so obvious she embarrassed all of them too, including the majority of the Great Apes. We'll get to Scar King in a little bit. The boy Rodan? Glad to see he's making a comeback, but you're still getting spanked! He got low diffed by a holding back King Ghidorah. Same one that gave 2019 Goji a run for his money. And 2017 Goji is like barely weaker, if weaker at all, than his 19 self. She should be able to drop him off. But I feel like season 3 is gonna upgrade the boy, so don't lose hope on him. My glorious Queen Mothra. She wouldn't even try hurting another mama. But in terms of who's winning, Kokai is better showing. Mothra have a hard time with a King Ghidorah chew toy, while Kokai had Mothra's hubby screaming like a toddler. So I imagine Mothra's web would be really annoying, and maybe the stinger too. But we only seen the stinger used on one kaiju and nothing else. And even then, that one kaiju isn't exactly the strongest, so there's not too much to go off of for now. but GXK Muffer could be another story. Now, Scar King's a weird one for me. I was thinking Kokai had this in a bag, but honestly, nah. So without going into full detail about her fight with Kong, which we'll get to, Kong nor Titan X easily one-shotted or no-diff the other, and Scar King simply isn't that far behind Kong in strength. So Titan X is gonna struggle here, especially with Scar being significantly faster and more agile than her. Along with that whipping axe, he might just chop her up into some sushi. Let's not sleep on Scar King's durability either. He was smacking on knuckle sandwiches from the Beast Club. Same glove that can hurt Evolve Goji. Didn't he survive getting whacked by Evolve Goji too? So at least in blunt durability, I'd argue he's more durable than her. Piercing durability, he's lacking in feats. So he ain't got nothing to save him from Kokai's tentacles. And if the more durable Kong can get overwhelmed and cut up by them, then she's very likely to do the same with Scar King. I think she would win at high difficulty due to Scar King's smart, speeds, and weaponry. Now, Mecha Godzilla, he's an interesting case. Either he's extremely downplayed and hated on, or overhyped and overglazed. And to be honest, it's Mecha Godzilla. The glaze is warranted. But aside from that, I do find this fight interesting and frustrating at the same time. As we all know, Mecha G was beating the Jamba Juice out of Godzilla. Worst whooping he received in the entire Monsterverse. Yeah, I said it. Here's the problem. As we also all know, Godzilla wasn't at 100%. Mecha G was dunking on a Godzilla that's about half his power, maybe even less. Which, hey, we've seen other kaiju get spanked by even weaker Goji, so it's not as bad as you would think. Still, Kong, while also tired and fatigued, using a weakened charged axe, cut up Mecha Godzilla into pieces. Meanwhile, a more energized Godzilla did not get the same treatment despite getting attacked by an even stronger axe. Godzilla's by feet seems to be stronger, and by statements. So in physicals, I got Kokai. A tired Godzilla can ram into Mecha G and even restrain him some by grabbing an arm, while Titan X shows comparable strength to a stronger Goji, along with being able to decently damage a stronger High too. Mecha's weaponry could be dangerous though. If Titan X would be significantly hurt by Godzilla's atomic breath, then you can make a case for the boy Mecha. The novel implies his proton scream is stronger than a Hollow Earth drill, so if he snipes Titan X, he could probably do some serious damage. Apex is also very aware of Kokai and likely made Mecha G have some counters to her too, so I can see that argument being made as well. But besides those potentials, I see Kokai wrapping around Mecha Godzilla and crushing him up into scrap metal. She should take it. Now let's get to the fight of the fights, her bout with Kong, and what's the case between the two. Dude, this might be the most dead even Monsterverse fight would have been shown on screen. I truly think they are even. On multiple occasions, they show they can harm each other and physically contest with one another. Kong shows he can break out of Kokai's tentacles and stagger her with her punches. He even floors her with a clean uppercut. It's a miracle to me how she still got a functional brain after getting clocked to the dome. While Kokai's tentacles drag and restrain Kong on several occasions, and her tentacles made him all bloodied up too. What I have noticed after watching this fight 10,000 billion times is that the aggression booster fake pecs was zapping into Kokai actually did help her out. First time she was struck to overload, she catches Kong off and had him slipping on banana. We also see at first, Kong's punches would rock Kokai, and he could even break out of her grasp too. Even to the point he can literally save people mid-fight like he's Superman, and then just bounce right back up. Yet, when she was on Overdrive 2000, she was more resistant to his attacks, and he struggled to break free out of her grasp. So it does suggest that aggro boosters do benefit her somewhat. I mean, if it makes things worse, Fake Peck's plans literally fail. They want Kong to lose, so weakening Kokai wouldn't make any sense, especially when she was already fighting Kong. For the most part, I think it's close between the two. But despite all of that D1 defense I was playing for Kong, I still edge it out to Kokai. She simply has piercing damage that Kong evidently is not the most resistant to. And Titan X appeared to be mostly fine after all of that brute force Kong put on her. I think she beats most versions of Kong's without his weapons. As prior to this, either A, he's a kid, or in GVK, he's just plain fat. GXK Kong though, he's in a much better environment, healthier conditions, and regularly deal with larger titans that can challenge him. This is probably peak Kong in stats. And we also know Kong's greatest ability is his battle adaptation to his ops. So now that he knows how to box Titan X while also being stronger, I think GXK Kong edges it out at high difficulty. And Kong with his weapons, especially the Beast Club, he's annihilating her. I don't think there's any debate to be had there. As for Muto Prime, this might be where Titan X stops, not counting Kong with his gear, of course. Now, the author's doing everything in their willpower to make Muto Prime look trash, even though I want to agree with them because I dislike Muto Prime.
As I don't have an agenda or hatred towards any of them.
She's a still very valid Titan, consistently giving Godzilla a hard time, giving him scars, puncturing his hide, and sent that man to space with her earthquake punches, and completely shattered his dorsal plates with her sonic screech. Now, this is 2014 Goji, who is weaker than 2017 Goji, but I have not seen any substantial evidence to suggest he's like 100 times more powerful than before. So I doubt 2017 would just no-div all of Muto Prime's attacks in one shot. However, this does mean Titan X is physically more powerful than Muto Prime. Muto Prime is confirmed weaker than 14 Goji, and Kokai had a stronger Goji on the ropes multiple times. I mean, y'all be getting on Kong for getting pressed by her tentacles, but so was Goji. He couldn't even break out of her tentacles either. At least not instantly. So without question in my mind, if she wraps around Muto Prime would have a very hard time breaking out while getting damaged by those piercers that wounded a stronger Godzilla. Thing is, if Muto Prime plays her cards right, she could keep Titan X far from her. She has her rod wave slams to knock Kokai off of the ground, and her ability to rap like NBA Youngboy, which would likely rip Titan X apart from how terrible the music is, if that ability is not strictly a Goji hacks kind of thing. Muto Prime could also use her supersonic burrowing as a tactic to avoid Kokai and catch her lacking. So overall, I think Muto Prime should win this more often than not. But if you want to give Kokai the W, she then undoubtedly cannot fade the big three. Godzilla is already implied to be more powerful than her in base, and he has a ton of more amps that should make light work of her. Ghidorah and Shimo can compete or straight up beat those power-ups. Actually, what is Kokai even doing in this situation? Looking at her feats and matchups, overall, she's honestly really valid. I honestly have her losing to the big three, Kong at his peak or with his weapons, and Muto Prime. And even some of those could be up for discussion, ultimately placing her top 6 in the entire Monsterverse, which is phenomenal. Don't y'all sleep on my girl Kokai. But what do you guys think? Do you guys have Titan X weaker than I estimated? Any matchups I said she wins, you think she actually loses? Or the opposite, and you think she's even stronger? Let me know it all. It's fun to see other people's rankings. But with all of that said and done, I'll catch y'all later.